All right, new light, and here's Sam Mellinger. Two excellent stories today in Kansas City. He writes as the Kansas City Star. I think that's correct, and he joins us here on High Heat. Sam, welcome. Nice to talk to you. Christopher Russo, how are you today, okay?
I'm good, yeah. How are you?
I'm doing well. Excellent stories. I don't blame the Royals for Shields. I don't blame the Royals for Billy Butler. And I certainly don't blame the Royals for Aoki. I mean, really, when you get right down to it, Sam, they made the trade Volquez, Morales, and Rios for Shields, Aoki, and Butler. I don't think that's that bad, do you?
Yeah, I think they did what they had to do, and I think that, James Shields is obviously the biggest loss in that group, and they were never going to be able to replace him, sort of part for part, and that's not what they got Edison Volquez for. But, this has always been a team for the last 8 years, and it'll be like this again next year and the year after that they're going to win or lose. They're going to succeed or fail based on the guys that came up through the system for the most part. And that means, Mike Moustakas has to be better. Eric Hosmer has to continue to grow. That bullpen, Yordano Ventura. I mean, that's the group that this team is going to rise or fall.
Well, I'm with you 100%. I mean, no magical formula in 2015. And your stories today, one of the stories, it was an excellent point. 2.7% chance for them to win the wild card game against the A's after Moustakas flat out in the bottom of the seventh inning. And imagine if they did not win that game compared to coming from behind and winning that game. It doesn't take a lot to change the equation if Kansas City didn't rally about 9 million times in the last 4 or 5 innings against Oakland. And if it did not rally, the Royals would have been a different offseason in Kansas City, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially around Kansas City, I guess I can't speak too much nationally, but in Kansas City, a lot of the talk is, 90 feet away in Game 7 of the World Series. But and that's all true, but it's also true that, gosh, they were so close to losing that wild card game. And, this is something that the Royals are talking about internally, too. And I think they're trying to use this as sort of, like a force for good motivation, if you will. That, we made it to the World Series, but, like one of their executives told me that, we can't fool ourselves into believing that we were the best team in the American League, because we weren't. And, they didn't win the division. And, they had a lot. They had some bad luck, but they also had a lot of luck, particularly with the health of the rotation and some things like that. So, I think that the mindset, if they can get to the point where, they don't believe that they've arrived, that, not winning the World Series, like, really, sort of burns inside of them, then that's the place they need to get to, as opposed to, feeling fat and happy.
You can't feel fat. I'm with you 100%. At baseball, and they're not that great. The payroll is what it is. Still one of the lowest in the American League. And that brings us to the payroll. What did it increase by 20% because they made $10 million in a postseason, Sam? What did it increase by 20% for 2015?
Yeah, just about a little bit more than 20%, yeah.
All right, now, are you more confident that Morales or Rios will bounce back and have a big year and be worth the $10 or $11 million they gave each?
If I got to pick one, I think it's Rios. I think that he ran into some bad luck last year, and, just talking to some people around the league, I think he was playing a lot of the year hurt. But still, 4 home runs in that ballpark, that's scary. That's a staggering number, yeah.
Yeah, but, it really is.
Some of the numbers indicate that there was some bad luck there, and if he really was playing hurt, then, hopefully he'll be a little bit better for the Royals this year. I know they're expecting about 40 doubles out of him if he stays healthy in that ballpark. So,
nice.
Keep some athleticism in the lineup. So I'd bet on him.
Yeah, he's athletic, no question about it. It's funny. I thought they might trade Holland in the offseason, almost take a chance with the Shields and Myers thing in reverse. Trade Holland, make Davis the closer. They get Hochevar back. He can help in the bullpen. You still got the other kid out there as well. I thought Holland might go. Teams need closers. Obviously, Toronto still needs one. But I guess they're going to go with that same 7th, 8th, and 9th formula, and they're going to keep Holland on the team. I thought they might let him run and let Davis close. Sam, how about that?
Yeah, I was with you, actually. I thought that would have been smart. But what we don't know is what the legitimate trade offers were for Greg Holland, or Wade Davis for that matter. But the Royals certainly would have been dealing from a position of strength and had a surplus and could have dealt either one of those guys and still had one of the better bullpens in the American League. But, Even with the money, I think Greg Holland's going to make $9.3 million this year, and Wade Davis is going to make about $8 million, I think. Even with that money, that was obviously, a huge part of why they got to where they got. So you don't want to trade them for nothing, but, I certainly would have been in favor for that if they could have, found a fit. Maybe with the Dodgers was a team that I was thinking about, has a lot of outfielders, could maybe use a closer. There were some possible fits around baseball, but you don't want to give away those kinds of guys for nothing.
By the same token, as you said, $17 million for 2 players there at the back end. One last thing, Sam. Let's say middle of May. No, let's say school night. Let's say middle of July, and the Twins are in. Are they going to be 32,000 in that beautiful little ballpark or not?
It's a great question, and so much of it depends on what the record is at that point. But I do think that they're going to have a pretty big jump in attendance, at least 10%, maybe more. Kansas City has always been, kind of a skeptical place when it came to the Royals, and that was obviously earned very honestly, the skepticism here in Kansas City. But something broke last year, and I think that, that what happened in October, what happened in the wild card game, really brought a lot of people in. And I think there's so much more energy and enthusiasm and belief in the Royals now than really any time before. And I think for the first time, really in about 20 years, that Kansas City is ready to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I think there's going to be a lot of excitement there.
Good job, Sam. Well done with the 2 columns. Thanks very much. Keep up the good work. Appreciate you coming on today.
All right. Thanks for having me.